I'm at a large cemetery in my hometown, and I found the headstone of a high school friend of mine. His name was Kit Carson, and we played basketball together. He passed away when I was away at college. I was a senior that year, and I wished I would have been here. I knew he was sick. I didn't know how serious it was, and I was very sad when he passed away. But it reminds me of a story in the Bible about Jesus and a friend of his named Lazarus, and I'm going to talk to you about it in your morning cup of inspiration. Because you see, Lazarus was very sick, and Jesus wasn't able to be there. In fact, he got word from Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha, that he was sick to the point of death. And when Jesus heard that, he told his disciples that they were going to stay there 2 more days. And that's kind of an odd thing. Why would he stay 2 days if his friend Lazarus was dying? I believe he actually knew he was already dead by the time he got the message. And he was going to use raising Lazarus from the dead as a sign that God is all powerful and he truly was the Son of God. So we read in John chapter 11 that Lazarus was sick, and Mary and Martha sent word to him. And when Jesus heard it, he said that this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified. He said that to his disciples. So he was already preparing them for what was going to happen. And then down in verse 14, he told them plainly, Lazarus is dead. And for your sake, I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him. So when they got to Lazarus' hometown, Martha ran out to meet him, and she said in verse 21, Lord, if you had been here, Lazarus would not have died. And again, he reassured her. He said, your brother will rise again. He says in verse 25, I'm the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live even though he dies. And then here's the key verse to the whole thing. In verse 40, Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? And then down in verse 43, he says, Lazarus, come forth. And then he told them to take the grave clothes off of him. He raised Lazarus from the dead. Now that's something that I'm not able to do for my friend Kit. Kit is in the eternity. And we all have friends that we know we need to tell about the Lord. We know that they need Jesus so that we can be together in heaven forever. But when we talk about fearless faith, which is what I've been speaking on these last several messages, God, Jesus, had fearless faith. He knew that God the Father was going to help him to raise Lazarus from the dead. So because of that, he was able to act the way he did. He was able to tell his disciples that Lazarus was going to live again. He gave that same message to Mary and Martha. But he said, if you believe, you'll see the glory of God. That's fearless faith. Believing something's going to happen before you see it. And I hope that you'll remember that and live your life every day with fearless faith. God bless. And I'll see you soon for another morning cup of inspiration.